It's Walt Disney World Clicks. I'm Kevin, your host. Let's get going. This week we start at Downtown Disney, where they have announced valet parking. Now we are behind the La Nuba area, so this is the Lot Q, as you can see in the background. So the valet parking that they're now offering at Downtown Disney takes place in the back of the Downtown Disney parking complex. We're here to look at Fit2Run. Now this is a new runner superstore, as you can see, located next to Splitsville. It opened up about 8 days ago, so on Sunday a week ago. And if you glance inside, you'll see obviously there's a lot of running paraphernalia, which means that there are shoes lining the walls and this neat little running track in the middle. And the shoes are, I guess, primarily the main draw for people coming in here. Really high-tech stuff, obviously, as well as many of the jerseys and other running gear you would expect to find from a place called Running Superstore. And they also have one of these, which analyzes how you step and your heel and arch and so forth, as well as a treadmill to give you some advanced feedback on the way that you're running. While we're here, let's look at the new Vinyl-mations for this week. Obviously, some new things for Tigger Is That You? There's an old T-shirt joke they've had at Animal Kingdom for a long time. Yellow Jacket and Wasp as well. And then this Meet Mickey has got a second design now in addition to the original green and gold one. The former Wetzel's Pretzels undergoing even more gutting in the inside of the building. As you can see, they've really taken out almost everything on the inside. And we see here the first of several new pieces of artwork scattered around Downtown Disney. Now this is for Disney Springs. It appears they have some sort of second level opportunity available here. And they've got kind of a more intimate, rustic feel to the way the water and the patios will interact in the new Disney Springs once everything is built out. Now the artwork shows kind of indistinctly where things are. This is an existing bridge, I'm pretty sure, but it's not entirely certain where everything is going because it's not labeled well. For instance, this one riverboat here, Fulton's Crab House, is not labeled as such, and there ought to probably be the Rainforest Cafe volcano in the background here somewhere. This is probably the marina, the Captain Jack's Marina, and this is probably the Captain Jack's restaurant. It looks like they will be connecting the two of those, making just a big loop out over the water where people can go walk. That's at least what it looks like here, but it's not clearly labeled. A little bit more feeling kind of actually like Downtown Disney in Anaheim, I think, in this view. And then there's an interior section here as well that makes it feel a little bit more like the Florida outlet malls. They do have new decorations up. It's no longer fall, but now the Christmas season. So it says Festival of the Seasons is the main advertising, as you can see around Downtown Disney. And this walkway is open. So we are next to Paradiso. In fact, some of the concept artwork I was showing you a moment ago were taken on this walkway. So this additional walkway to the west side passes by some of the artwork you can see here. And it goes along the river walk. Well, probably they're going to do some construction later on in the other current walkway, so they had to open this one up first. And it's a really wide walkway, actually, and this material is kind of the new composite material that looks like wood, but is actually made out of plastic. As you can see, you can get a different view of the balloon from out here. It jets out over the water a little bit. This is not normally a view you could have had otherwise. A little bit more of the walkway on our way back, and then flipping around to view the backside of the walkway here where we had walked by the BET Soundstage Club. And we're switching over to the monorail. We are looking at the Polynesian where they are dumping dirt here. You'll see in a few moments where that dirt is coming from. It is coming from the Sunset Point. So this is the main Polynesian buildings, and this is the beach over here. Zooming in a little bit, this beach used to wrap around the side and come out to this kind of point out here, which was called Sunset Point, and they had some palm trees and so forth. And it wasn't really developed, and so obviously they've really ripped everything out that was over there before. It's not clear from the picture or my very limited looking at it whether they are adding dirt or removing dirt. I kind of think that they were adding dirt. These piles of dirt here are more dirt than they would have had there previously, and they are taking dirt from that parking lot we saw a moment ago. We're here to look at the Grand Floridian, the villas at Grand Floridian, which of course is the DVC edition. It's now open to the world. So you can actually stroll over here. You don't need to be a DVC member. They don't ask for any sort of proof. This is a fountain outside right there. And as you make your way around, you see it shares many of the same architectural features of the Grand Floridian itself. Indeed, it's branded as a Grand Floridian hotel. And this is the new Senses Spa, and this is the new DVC wing, and there's the old Grand Floridian back there. It all kind of fits together visually, I think, pretty well. There's a closer look at the outside of the Senses Spa. We didn't go in. This is the porte cochere on your way into the actual building, where you'll find decorations of the penguins from Mary Poppins, and they are bronze statues, of course. And part of a wishing fountain. And that's the main lobby area that you can see here. It's actually not a lobby in that there is no check-in area, but it is lobby-like. They have some decorations. This one looks like Jingles, actually, the horse from the carousel at Disneyland. And then other lounge and lobby-type furniture, but there's no check-in desk. So we'll take a couple other close looks around. Here's the overall layout. So this is most of the Grand Floridian, and then this is the new area. The villa's right here. So the Senses Spa is over here, and this is the Wedding Pavilion Complex over here. They do have nice touches, such as these swan paintings. The lighting fixtures in that central atrium are very interesting and ornate. And in fact, if you look on the carpet, you'll find hidden Mickeys. Here they are in red, and a little ring of them all around, which is a nice touch as well. A little bit more of the decorations in the lobby area. Interesting themed signs for the restrooms. In fact, if we poke our head into the restroom very quickly, you'll see it is also ornate in its tile and the way it provides the same thematic connection to the outside with the wallpaper. There's a view down one of the hallways, and as again you can see, it's kind of all matching in terms of colors. A little bit more of that front area. This is a DVC booth over there, but not really the check-in. It functions more like a regular wing of the Grand Floridian than its own place. At the Grand Floridian itself, the Gingerbread House will be opening up on November 16th and selling their famous gingerbread and desserts for, I guess, the 15th year in a row now. Now at the Magic Kingdom, you'll see some cast members, at least toward the evening hours, sporting the Christmas costume. Haven't shown a picture of that in some time. And this is what the map looks like if you are going for the Christmas party itself. Now, this is not mostly a trip of the Christmas party, although there are some Christmas decorations up and around the parks, as you can see. That's obvious that once we leave the Halloween season behind, it's Christmas time. Now, I'm taking you to an area in the Caribbean Plaza in Adventureland near the bathrooms. Those are down this hallway here because we're going to have a closer look inside this zone here. And specifically, we're going to look at this cabinet and down in the lower area of this cabinet. And what do we find there but a platypus head wearing a fedora, a KP sort of insignia, and then a Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom looking medal. So the obvious implication here, and this whole zone was built for the recent Treasure of the Seven Seas Pirates Adventure interactive game. Well, the implication is that this interactive game it pays homage, or perhaps is better than the Agent P World Showcase Adventure, Kim Possible World Showcase Adventure, or Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. All the other previous interactive games. Now they're here just as kind of props as part of this one. Interesting little tribute there. Now, let's have a look at the Jungle Cruise, rethemed to the Jingle Cruise for the holidays. There's a close-up of the sign itself. And as you see, they've got some decorations along the tops of the boathouse. The theming is that the cast members working here decided to theme up the boathouse a little bit. And so you see the occasional Christmas decorations. It's not overdone. In fact, if you look around, you'll see some of it on the Tiki Hut across the way as well. Okay, and then looking back into the boathouse, you'll see most of the time the Christmas decorations don't really overwhelm. So you have some around the sides here, but it's not everywhere, and it doesn't really detract. Same thing with the Santa Claus hats. As you can see, they're in the same design as the skipper outfits themselves, so they try not to detract from the show. The main thing that they did is create new names for all of the boats. And so Sleigh Ride Sadie, Yule Log Lolly, Candy Cane Connie, Mistletoe Millie, Eggnog Annie, Vixen Val, Fruitcake Zelda, and Poinsettia Sal, Icicle Irma, and Burr Bertha are the boats that we saw. I think there's one boat missing, but I didn't get a photo of that particular boat. It was Veterans Salute Week. It began during Veterans Day, and we saw the flag retreat where they had as a special treat, the Main Street Philharmonic, was playing, as well as the Voices of Liberty using their new Voices costumes. There's the security guards and the honorary Veteran of the Day, and off to the side is the color guard, some volunteers from military service for the flag retreat itself. And after the few songs, they march up Main Street. The band comes first, followed by the Veteran of the Day, and then the Disney cast members marching along before the color guard. Now, I don't have enough expertise to say whether these guns are in fact real. It did seem a little unusual to have guns in the Magic Kingdom, but maybe that was just me for thinking about whether these veterans are sporting real guns. The Voices of Liberty come at the end of that particular procession. There's what the sign looks like for Veterans Salute Week. I think it happens all week long. It's under the banner of Limited Time Magic. Here is the special card, Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom card, given away for a very Merry Christmas party. And they continue this tradition of giving away special cards for the parties as kind of a special reward. Now, on the day of our visit, the Carousel of Progress was closed, and what they were doing, actually, was filming a segment for the upcoming movie Tomorrowland, a big-budget Hollywood movie, probably set at some point in the 60s, because they're using the Carousel of Progress set and had people dressed up in period attire at one point going into the facility. Now, we're not able to see any of the actors by the time we got here, but there were some reports earlier in the day of actors in the area. Now, this is almost certainly not brand new. It is, however, new to me. This was a hidden Mickey, obviously, as seen from the Tomorrowland People Mover. Now, it's possible this hidden Mickey has always been there. I've just never really noticed it. This picture was taken from ground level, not from the People Mover itself, but it's very obvious from the People Mover when you're on it that that's meant to be a hidden Mickey. There are new costumes in Fantasyland. Now, this is a photo, obviously, of the female costume. She's standing in front of the currently closed Peter Pan. It's opening soon. And as you can see, it's kind of a return in some ways to the colorful medieval look of the original Fantasyland. The men's costume, as you can see across the way here in Small World, looks like this. Now, it's not all over Fantasyland. I think it may be only, quote-unquote, old Fantasyland getting these new costumes. Clearly, the new Fantasyland has got something that looks more, I guess, placemaking and realistic. This is more medieval courtship looking. A nighttime shot of what the Jingle Cruise sign looks like, as well as what some of the decorations are once it's nighttime. Now, this is the office near the beginning of the line, and as you can see, they've decked out garlands and so forth around the outside. There's a tree over on this wall here next to the Fast Pass return area, and then looking back again at the office, you'll see they've got this kind of tinsel tree with the color wheel on it, a rather old-style way of doing holiday decorations. The ride itself doesn't have decorations on it except perhaps for Trader Sam at the very end. Now, they do have the Christmas season decorations in full gust, so to speak, in the evening, especially once the party starts, and they allow it to start snowing. As you can see, the Castle Dreamlights are on as well for the Christmas season. Now, a couple of weeks ago in the Toy Story Midway Mania line, this new thing appeared. As you can see, it faces both directions, Fast Pass on the right and the standby line on the left. Now, what is it? Well, it's an Etch-a-Sketch. And if we look a little closer at what this Etch-a-Sketch is, it's providing hints about the ride, and sometimes it's asking questions. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of a trivia game here. It's all made up and the points don't matter. See if you can guess who this is. It is Slinky Dog. And guess the phrase. Never leave a toy behind was the answer. Moving on. It's Wheezy. And moving targets are worth more points, we're reminded here. Now, these things kind of come into existence as an Etch-a-Sketch would draw them. You see the lines are connected, and it moves somewhat quickly to draw the whole thing. It's a neat effect, actually. In addition to giving ride hints, it kind of intersperses the ride hints with the character questions. Here's another one. Woody is the obvious answer for that one. After a while, it starts repeating the questions. We're not going to show you any of the repeats, but we are going to show you what all of the questions look like that we saw. Bo Peep, that question. Another Guess Who. Leading to Bullseye. There are several of these. Buttercup in that one. By now you've probably figured out to hit the pause button if you want to guess before I give you the answer. Another guess the phrase. It is ride like the wind, bullseye. Aim higher to launch farther, and one more of those hints. Another guess. That's a pretty simple one. That's all there is to it. It's ham. This one, a little bit unusual, I thought. Hey, howdy, hey was the answer. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus. There's a good phrase to guess. To infinity and beyond is the answer. And it looks like I'd let a double creep in there after all. Ride like the wind, bullseye is in fact a double from what we saw earlier. But as you can see, it moves, it's sort of in random order, sometimes giving you doubles when you didn't yet get all the way through the complete list of possible games to guess. That was Chessy or Jesse. Another guessing game. It's Buzz Lightyear. The answer for that one. One more here. Lot so is the answer. And just to finish up our tour, the last couple of guesses. Mr. Pricklepants. And then there's a couple of these remaining hints, and that brings us to where in Walt Disney World was this? So last week we had this one, and as many of you guessed in the comments correctly, it was in fact at the Contemporary Hotel. It was in the lobby. So the check-in desk is over to the side here. And let's move on to this week's competition. Where in Walt Disney World was this? Leave your answers, your guesses in the comments, and we'll see you next week if you're right. That does bring us to the end of this week's show. We thank you as always for your attention, and we'll see you guys next week.